Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, friends, PUBG family. Welcome back. This is the final game of the Auzom Premier League North American Season 2, the last game to decide who takes it all home. It'll be my pleasure to bring you the action. My name's Toffees. I'm joined by my partner in crime here this weekend, Cameron Davis, and of course our eye in the sky who always seems to be there, Skyline. Now, real quick, Cameron, before we jump into analysis, let's talk briefly about the scores. Space Station Gaming is at a whopping 1094. Totality, who started in first place today, though, is at a 1025. The third place competitor, FlyQuest, is at 890. So really, this is a battle for first and second between Space Station and Totality. FlyQuest, Team Gates, and the God Squad are all competing for third with a deviation of about 100 points between them. So we'll keep a track on those two sort of fights for position throughout this match, but it's exciting. Space Station has been on fire tonight.
Yeah, it's actually been really, really good for them. They did get a 10th place, but that 4th and 2nd earlier on this evening, especially those 16 kills from round 6, are really putting them up there. But as you mentioned, Totality fast on their heels. And after coming off of a 3rd place finish, they're going to be looking to improve that to a 2nd or most likely a 1st. So hopefully they could do that, and kind of ending on a 1st would actually be really, really cool for either of those two teams to win the entire event. But it should still be said, though, that this is a pretty tight scoreboard pretty much across the whole way. All of these teams, no matter where they are, there is a lot of room for movement up and down. So there's a lot to play for all of these teams, basically.
You know, and these teams want to perform well. So here's the thing. Right now, and there is no monetary prize for this season. However, the players get a chance to really hone their skills. More importantly, finishing placement here can be taken into account when it comes to voting and positioning moving into the next season as to who goes to those Premier Leagues and who has a chance to be a part of the evolved APL Season 3, because it's going to have a lot of changes, a lot of really cool stuff coming, and I think these players are really going to like it. So there is that value. It's not just a throwaway. You want to try to get your rankings up there. You want to represent yourself well in the online leagues, because when it comes to the LAN invites, a lot of those LANs are looking at your team's performances over sort of the interim from the last LAN in the online leagues to determine who they bring to these big shows. So there is a very important level of fighting for the highest position that you possibly can.
Absolutely. Looking at the playing route, opening this up. Oh, okay. Actually, whoa. Nova, they spotted out down in South Africa Island. They spotted out that God Squad looked like they were making a long drop over to South Africa Island, whilst they got their vehicles once again up around Milta. They recognized that they could beat God Squad here to military base, and I don't think God Squad are going to be aware of that. They are just now 3 of them driving over this hill, and there are already 2 members of Nova. Sorry, make that 3 here on the island. They are here to come and steal this away from God Squad.
Yeah, no, Pat Caps is driving right in with Pistola time, and it may be Pistola time for Nova as they are on the roof and opening fire already. Pistola time goes down. Pat Caps hits the abort button. Run. The Ramsing speed, baby. As Landune opens fire, tries to burn it down, being chased now. He'll finish the kill, but we'll jump back over to the run because Pat Caps is being hit by the motorcycle and chased by Locknarb aggressively across the map. He's got that 2-seater trying to go wide, decides it's not worth pushing into the houses where Nova will probably have some backup. So Pat Caps has to just head back to the beach, and they find themselves in this position that Tempo found themselves in not too long ago.
Yeah, and this is huge, though, for them, because now their looting rotation is going to have to be really... It's going to be a struggle, because all they can do is gather these, like, tiny little scavenge spots up along this northern ridge, because they only saw 2 people from Nova, if I'm not mistaken. So they can't go to Novo, because there may be more of them there. Right now, they just want to avoid everyone, try and pick up as much loot as they can, because their entire rotation has been upset, and they're going to be late on everything that they had strategized for this circle.
The strategy has gone out. Zivindi, and that's it. I mean, tough position for God Squad. They had such a good last game. They're in 5th position on the rating right now, so they've just got to hunker down and I think pull themselves up by their bootstraps and try to make a comeback here. And you know what? They've got the tenacity to do that. So we'll keep an eye on that storyline as the game develops.
There's an engagement at prison. Oh, an immediate engagement that's already over. Riem did catch out Fignaldo out there on foot, a little overextended VTV, unable to follow up on that. And so that's going to be set to destroy X, having to run away with the tail between their own legs. I don't know if that was an invade or just an overextension, but they should know that that compound is very much United territory.
Yeah, either way, it is a dead Fignaldo, a key player for that team, so they are going to suffer as they move into the late game here. 2 players dead. We got to see exactly what happened to both of them. 16 teams left as Teflon up on the hill, going to go ahead and look a little bit of scouting and peek before he makes his transition himself, checking out the compound, saying, is it safe? This is what I like to see. I like when teams, when players are smart about their transition and check things out before just shoving in.
Yeah, and shoving in. Indeed, it's a really good spot to take.
The Alamo is a good spot to take. So he'll go in there early. It's right in the middle. It's a good spot. He's got that AK already, so he can kind of hold that position and allow his team to get him ammo and whatever attachments he needs as they go through their looting phases. Elusive, Frolic, the guys from C9 making an earlier transition into the circle for looting. They're still doing their South Pachinki spread, but they're making sure that they're on the fringe of the white pretty quickly here. Dash 32 living up to his name as he takes off at top speed to find a location for his people to call home.
Going into Lumbermill, I'd be surprised if they stay here because very few teams actually like this spot. It gives you very little information and it is also very easy to breach. So it's not really useful either early or late game. Perhaps he's just here to try and find some extra loot. I'm expecting him to push a little further north to find a better scouting spot in the early game. But even if they does stay here, it is still a spot in the first circle. So, you know, beggars can't be choosers, I suppose. Frolic right now making a nice goal between those 2 rocks.
Frolic don't care. Rocks mean nothing to this man. So he takes him out. He's going mid-circle. He's trying to herd the circle back towards the rest of his team. So by going out to that side and push the circle down towards blue, they can really work in their advantage. So he does grab a spot. Everyone else are on their rotation phases, the big migration, if you will, as everyone grabs their spots and waits for what the circle will give to them next. The Gates. Team Gates in a pretty good spot as they roll in. Let's see, where are we going to now? The fields. You see Nitrogen from Team Core 4 headed over towards the noob compound to join his teammate Teflon.
Yep, it's an easy transition down from Yasnai to that position as well. Cloud Knight's on the rotation. FlyQuest, though, potentially in a spot to punish that, but I don't think the timing is going to be in their favor for that. Instead,
oh no,
what?
Vexel put in work, got Zampa on the transition and killed him as he tried to go south of the red houses. A logical transition for him to make. Maluk sees the kill, decides to go north of the red houses, which may ultimately backfire as well, as I believe I saw Vexel's little dot on the way into the circle. So he's playing that crater gatekeep role. Maluk's going to have to park up here and try to scout him out because losing Zampa this early is a pretty devastating blow to Tempo Storm and the desire to go deeper in this match.
Yeah, he's their top fragger, and so the fact that he's already out is, as you said, like there's no other way to say it, it's very, very bad. They do at least have the 3 of them all grouping up, but they're going to find another way to get back inside the circle, but they could be coming across a duel because they got the majority of those players in Pachiki, but then Stark also on the south of it. And so if they run too close to either of those spots, they could potentially take more casualties. Elsewhere on the circle, we see United. I don't know if they're going to be playing that as a split, but looking now at Totality, swinging over the north side. Yep. I think they're driving next to another team. Did I see?
Yeah, Uncivils was just up the way from them. So keep in mind that Totality is going to be playing this for position. They're currently in second place. They need to go deep in this match and get some kills to maintain. So if they get a chance to eliminate Space Station Gaming, that's a risk that they may be willing to take. Otherwise, expect them to sort of play, I think, a little more careful. Maybe some outlier compounds, places that are a little less popular, and possibly some spots where they could steal some kills in sort of the fight that will ultimately probably happen near the warehouse location.
Space Station Gaming now solid first place, but maybe not as solid as they would like it as they make their low rotation on the coastline, staying away from the mainland as much as possible, avoiding everyone that they can. Because when they get to the late game, they can really frag out. But they have a similar story to Cloud9 that they can sometimes get caught out mid-transition. They're stopping just barely inside the circle with a nice rock face to look over to scout out ahead of them.
Yeah, and they, again, are going to also sort of do the same idea. Play the fringe, play safely. But here's a fight breaking out right now. It is going to be Duel facing off against the push coming out from Dre on Tempo Storm. He's going to look to his right, sees him, gets the knock, ducks back behind the hill. A nice play for Dre to start off right against Duel, who thought he was going to the right side, but he wasn't. They going to come out looking for the finish. K-Mine, though, aggressively going for the flank play around the side. Dre not looking in that direction. It could cost him. K-Mine, we'll see him now in an easy finish. Dre will go down. Maluk across the road. K-Mine, I don't know if you saw him or not. I think he might have, because he decides very quickly to go for the res. So I think he's aware that Maluk is sort of playing that sniper role, and that Dre going down means Maluk is just out of luck.
Ooh, look at this, though. We got Wildcard coming in off the side, so they could try third-partying this. Maluk does grab into a vehicle, try and run away, but all eyes on him now from Jewel. No. He has to stop and get out, and this is just bad for him, especially because the car is rolling backwards.
Oh, God. Oh, it's bad. There it is. Oh, he jumped out the last second. He took fire, but now he's behind the smoking wreck of the dreams that could have been, as he heals himself and has to deal with the push from Wooly and K-Mine, splitting to the right and the left. Nay going to come out with a bit of a prayer. Wooly to the right side. Other Nade's going to the left, so he's not ready for the Wooly flank. Does talk a second up. This might catch K-Mine if he's not too careful. Wooly should be in an okay spot. Nades are going to go off, and they're not going to touch anybody as they wait for their chance to go forward. K-Mine cooking the nade, tosses it out, goes for the bounce, just past the Jeep. Boom, baby. That's a dead Maluk.
Yeah, nice nades planted right in front of that vehicle, using that gap between the vehicle and the ground for the explosion radius. Yeah, roadkill. While that happened, Wildcard actually went down to the south, took over the position that Space Station were in. Space Station used that spot to leapfrog in next to Farm. Looks like they're going to be hunkering down there, but I don't know if Wildcard have eyes set on that same position. God Squad also just to the south of them. Space Station are in a decent spot right now to actually grab themselves a couple of kills.
Yeah, but they also need to not get killed, right? If they go out here, then that's an easy win for Totality just to go deep. They'll see the kill feed and know that all they have to do is slow play. Quinn is up on the rocks, and like you said, they want kills. Tomai is going to go down right away. I like this side of Space Station Gaming. They don't care. They're not going to play super careful. They're going to go for it, and that's what they do best. They're putting some work in. Smurf is firing at Pride right now as Pride finds himself a little bit of cover and back into the walled houses. They will go as they're happy. They got that 10 points, and now they can hunker down for just a few more minutes.
Yes, but look at this next circle. It's a hard swing up into the north, away from all of that action in the farm. In Totality, they are now laughing, grinning ear to ear with their position. It also puts them in a really nice spot, once again, to overlook a lot of these rotations trying to come past them, and they could potentially get a couple of kills themselves through these transitioning vehicles.
It's like watching a Nature Channel special. Here you see the migration patterns of the adolescent player. All right, so they are breaking the rotation around the outside. Everyone's trying to find some of these, anything to sort of call home. But remember that Alamo grab early on, and now Totality's position, which has actually gotten to be pretty good here, is going to cause, I think, a lot of trouble for these teams trying to come in. Gates does find the garage above Mansion. VTV and Rift are going to be actually really happy when Set to Destroy settles into those high houses over there. Totality putting in a ton of work on everybody who's passing by. I don't think they've gotten a kill out there just yet, but once that starts, it's going to be a big, poke in the eye of SSG. They're going to have to answer in point. Frolicker goes down behind a rock, unfortunately able to survive the onslaught of bullets coming his way. FlyQ into the swamp, sees Elusive going by and opens his fire. Elusive just trying to get C9 a little bit deeper into this match. They've had a very tough rotation, not a little bit of a very tough rotation.
Yeah, but they're running directly into the position of Core 4, holding these two houses very, very well. And now the three remaining players of Cloud9 are deciding, we need to go back to that forest just north of Mansion and deal with FlyQuest one-on-one. It's the best shot that we have. Nova also swinging along the eastern side, avoiding shots from a couple of different teams. But look at this. Are FlyQuest pushing immediately onto Cloud9?
They're going for it. Blue is going to be pushing up over the hill. He's taking fire from behind. Blue versus Blue, and he goes down Blue to Blue, and that will be a little bit of blue on blue violence.
But Blue also goes down to Elusive, so it is in the 1-for-1 trade, and Elusive gets a second one.
Ooh. Elusive hard to hit here as he tries to flank around something. There's the right and the left push coming from the side. They get the knock, and they'll get both reses up. So a fun fight. Cloud9 definitely put in some work there in the swamp, but ultimately not able to eliminate anybody, and they will still come out 4 strong after that fight. 14 teams, 50 people alive as we go into a much tighter circle, which should be closing pretty soon. Mr. Blown Apart and his team down by the crater. That's Render Esports. Vexel is moving in. Remember, this is a team that needs to perform well and not go out early, as they're going to walk right into it. So Space Station Gaming come into a little bit of trouble here if they're not careful.
It's just Vexel that's in trouble right now. The rest of the team can drive off without him, or they could contest him. But actually, Render's getting contested by another team up to the north. So that does give pressure enough onto them to allow Vexel from Space Station to get back to his teams and just stay on this edge and wait for the next circle.
And they will continue to do that, work the edge, go deeper in the match, make sure that they're getting the most points they possibly can. Not a bad play, very smart sense of how this game needs to be managed so they can come out on top. Smurf, though, always going to take the shot when he can get it, and they're going to light up Bin Long as he moves to a shack. He'll turn around, fire back, but they all have partners, so easy reses for anybody who does get knocked from Space Station Gaming. It gives you that confidence to sort of take the shots. Totality in the middle of the circle, though, they're the ones who are trying to get kills to catch up to SSG, and if you're going to do that, this complex that was gifted, this complex in the circle that was gifted to them is the place to do it.
Yeah, now that Cloud9 are out of this, we don't know where the next circle is going to swing.
Brutal. But true. So true. I mean, it went north. Like, it went the opposite of where they came
Yeah,
from.
I know.
So, I mean, they're not wrong. They're not wrong that it's been a bad day in terms of their circles. Okay, so Dash 32 is car 98ing down the hill to send a message to Space Station Gaming. You're not wanted up here. Stay there. Don't come up this way, as they prefer to hold Pride Rock all to themselves. United locked up inside of the houses just north of the crater. What else do we have? Rotations coming in. Looks like Pentalol is going to join up with the rest of their team on the north side. If they get the circle, they'll be very happy. Totality is taking some fire from shoot to kill, but again, they're playing in two, so reses are always going to be playable. And the circle establishes itself. Totality will literally be on the edge of it, exactly where they probably want to be at this stage of the game, and try to kill some folks in transition.
Yeah, actually, but it's a really good spot for a set to destroy duel right now. We saw them just get into the north when the next circle pop, and so they're going to be already on transition, trying to go onto this eastern side. Very few people go to the eastern side because it's not often into the circle, but this time it is. But it may already be held up by Nova, who are in a split position, but those few players may be enough. Space Station Gaming also trying to work the edge, able to sneak their own way into the Pavka. There's still a couple of buildings there they can hide out in until later. Central, though, it's going to be a surround. No, very few teams want to go inside the mansion forest outside of FlyQuest, who are already there, but a lot of teams are trying to grab these compounds that are around it.
Yeah, the mansion forest known to be haunted, so a lot of teams just don't want to go in there because a lot of folks go in and don't come back out, as Cloud9 can vouch for earlier in the match. Envious going to take some shots at Totality. Purdy, as he plays the scout role, heading uphill, already very low on health, hits the jump and heads towards Lipovka. Now he takes fire from the guys at Set to Destroy. Now he will go all the way to the border of Lipovka. Not a bad idea if he can slide in here. And Totality has set up a good spread. Wildcard has pushed into their compound, however. We'll follow this because this could have big ramifications on who takes the win in this tournament. Tony V has to try to fight them off here.
Sharp Shock and Wildcard was the long angled position to distract them while the other two members pushed up close, and now Kickstart and Pride are in a really good position to push up this hill onto Totality, who are quite split with this compound. It's a good decision to be split in this compound if you're fighting off long range attackers, but when people are this close, Tony V really has to worry. He's running back inside and actually going out the back way of that building. No, he's actually going back onto the rooftop, so he's able to get some high ground angles onto these two players of Wildcard who are on the retreat right now. They don't feel comfortable with this take just yet so early in. They're still inside the zone, and so perhaps they may just want to rest in this little divot, not push into Totality in this way.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to force yourself into a hot situation. Now, they don't know necessarily that this other area is, they know where Tony V is. I don't think they have an idea where Taro is located. So Kickstart doing a bit of scouting, seeing if somebody's in this spot, while Pride holds the line. In comes Sharp Shot HD to make their team full strength, and they will deploy and push. Taro, already in the car, has said, we're not risking it. We got to go. Tony V is going to hold the house, I guess, alone. Should be interesting to see how that pans out. Taro going to drive right past an opposing team, though, at these garage houses, who will very likely open fire. Taro going to go left, try to get himself using the outside the white line to make a long rotation, and they do get by without any casualties miraculously as he weaves through the fields and going to have to ride the blue like a wave.
It's going to be rough, though, because there are a lot of spots held on the edge, and now they're actually back out into the blue, so taking chunk damage from the play zone while they're doing this long rotation. Now, looking down in prison, there are a couple teams down here where Render are actually gatekeeping God Squad right now. I think I've seen a similar situation before, but Pat Caps and Little Prodigy, the only two members of God Squad still left, and they're going to be taking damage from the blue themselves.
Being in there is so hard. The gatekeep when somebody's in the crater is just nightmarish. So I don't know what they do to get out of this other than just, you know, pure dumb luck. Maybe them getting engaged from behind by a team like Space Station. That's a really tough thing to find or position to find yourself in. But hey, if you enter the crater after the first circle, you're asking for it, right? I guess is the moral of the story. Totality, by the way, has finished the long rotation. Every Pentalol and his entire team and Locknarb, so 5 and 12, have decided to take shots at them as they pass. They do ultimately get the knock on Taro. Smithy has to jump out on the fly. He goes down, and that will reduce Totality to 2 players, I believe, split up on opposite sides of the map. Tony V playing slow and low in the garage. Purdy in Lipovka. Neither get the circle. Both hoping to go deep in this tournament. This is the opposite of the Space Station Gaming strategy, and so far, SSG's lumped together seems to be working a little bit more effectively.
Yeah, Totality actually maybe spreading themselves too thin on that, kind of hedging their bets too many ways. It may come out to punish them. They do still have 2 alive, so we'll see. They still have definitely a chance to get later in, especially now because Space Station are being pushed on.
Man. So that is I believe they got Vegas there. Rayam going to try to drive on Vi. He's into Lipovka, almost down, so low on health. Goes spinning in. Purdy might actually end up getting this kill if Rayam drives into his territory already this low. Waiting for Purdy to pop his little head out. Purdy is gone. He jumped in a car and he bounced, so he's not going to get that kill. He's going to head to, it looks like, the shack and just jump inside. Yep. Oh no, he drove too far! Purdy!
Oh, heartbreaking exit! Totality
Purdy.
still have 1, but he is on the opposite side of the circle, and his own rotation is going to be... Where is he? Oh, he's actually making down the south, and he's going to run his own way into Space Station Gaming!
Oh, that is the end.
Totality are out in... What is that? 14?
Yeah, Space Station Gaming. Congratulations, probably. I mean, unless they really screw the pooch and someone gets a ton of kills, this should be Space Station Gaming's tournament.
The only threat right now is FlyQuest, and FlyQuest also need to go up huge, and Space Station still need to go out moderately early for that to happen. So Space Station should be feeling really comfortable about themselves.
Yep, they should feel comfortable about themselves. Everyone should feel comfortable about who they are. Meanwhile, Uncivil is going to be hiding behind this tree for shoot to kill, trying to get a couple of shots off here. Let's see. Space Station does manage to come in, but they don't have a ton of cover as they push up. Again, set to destroy easily with those high houses taking a lot of fire and just raining it down on Space Station as they have barely a cleft in the hill to call home.
At least it's something. They can hang out here for now. They're leaving Smurf behind to just watch the backstabbing. And they do need to watch for it because Render Esports are going to be coming up shortly. Trying to run away from the blue Binlong up first, peeking out from behind that tree. Doesn't spot out Smurf just yet. Smurf is playing a good lower position. Find some loot, though.
Yeah. So, Render, going to get a little bit of cash. Head up the hill for a little bit of action. Vexel in the grass, peeking around. Looks like they're going to now try to make their way forward, toss out a smoke. But the bad part is I don't think they're ready for Render to come up over this hill behind them. This could be devastating.
They started the run forward. They actually got a knock on a squad ahead of them. They're trying to push in onto that, but right when that happens, Render crests the hill onto them. This may be disastrous.
This is awesome, though. The running nade system is hilarious. Smokes everywhere. Render has to come in here. They are also now tossing their nades up and over, so it's going to be a mini red zone attacking SSG as they try to push the red houses.
Oh, this is bad. Thankfully, a couple members of SSG made their way into the compound, but so they still need to fight the team in that building themselves. Already downs are going against them.
Yeah, they are now caught between a hammer and an anvil, and I don't know how they escape it. They're just spraying into the smoke, burning down what they can, though they might get a little redemption if the guys from Render do start sniping, because I don't think the guys in the houses have any idea that they're nearby as they're focused entirely on SSG.
They're still 4 strong. Hwin wasn't discovered by Render, and actually Render swing in onto the right side. So Space Station, I don't think they know just how lucky they are in this situation. Vexel did get picked up, and he's going to jump in and try and get up and close and personal with that building laying just next to the wall. And so Space Station, they have a lot of cover, and this is good that they did this right now because they're going to need to use this to get into the next circle. They got to take out this team, and so they're here early to go grab that.
All right, so Nova taking a lot of fire. Nitrogen comes out, hopes to get someone knocked down, but he's the one that's going to get gassed in the end. Smurf looking to land his throw there, going to toss out some more cover as they continue to advance forward under the smokes and grenades and the chaos. Smurf goes down on entering the house. Man in the bathroom is always a dangerous thing as he dashes out, gets into the smoke, and goes to join VTV in the red house. He had allowed 2 players to pass him, so D-Master had moved up the stairs and he did not take the first shot. He waited for the last player to enter and then killed him and ran away. So a very, very clever play to put the screws to SSG.
Surprisingly, not the first time we've seen that same thing happen in that exact building, actually. So teams, you guys need to start checking those bathrooms on the first floor first. But here come Envy. Space Station still have to deal with multiple teams. And I don't know if Huyn is available for this. You see his sights are still set on the building held by Set to Destroy.
Yep. All right, so Envy going to start coming up the hill now. Cars transitioning by. If Jesse Lowell takes this shot, though, Huyn will have an idea of what's going on. Landoon is going to hide behind the rock just in time to see the Dacia go flying by, as well as the rest of the gates, or team gates, I'm sorry. Rolling up on the tree, building themselves a little fort, but they'll take a ton of fire from just about everybody else on the map. Nova spread between two locations, Ricky and Landoom, and they're going to open fire now as Team Gates settles in. Wildcard and FlyQ both heading towards the same compound. FlyQ is going to dismount their vehicles and start the spray down as soon as they see Wildcard park their cars and get out downhill. It's a good spot that Wildcard's in, not unless there's a team up here where FlyQ is. The bounce happened. It was too short. Wildcard now is aware of them. The problem is they're going to get shot from the other side. Nothing is sacred right now, and Wildcard is just caught and slammed right up in between a whole lot of enemies. You can see them just getting melted down.
Yeah, FlyQuest need to take this fight quickly, though, because they're getting shot from multiple angles as well. It looks like Sharpshot goes down to FlyQuest. That is going to be Wildcard out in 10th place. But FlyQuest sustained a lot of casualties in that engagement, still getting peppered down by Core 4.
SSG got the circle. They lost one, but they somehow took a compound away from their opponents Set to Destroy, managed to hold the house, and now are in that circle comfortably waiting for the next push. So Envy's got to go around to the left side. They're taking fire from SSG. The guys from Render are camped out to the right. They'll be curious to see what happens on the next one. Really impressive play by them. Not just conservative, but really smooth in terms of that smoke push into that house was one of the better ones I've seen.
Yeah. Exactly, because the next circle reveals itself, and it's going to be on top of Core 4. Them and Nova, the only two teams with any sort of hard cover in this next circle, and that just means that these three teams out here of the South are gonna have to deal with each other.
And they really are. So the guys from Set to Destroy don't have to move before Space Station Gaming does, and that's really what could be the big problem for Space Station here. Envy is going to be able to slide around the outside of the hill. They should know. Vexel saw them pushing up there, so he knows exactly where they are. He definitely heard them on the other side of the shack, and Space Station has a couple of teams that are going to have to move after them, and that's a huge challenge. How do you overcome that challenge, Cameron, when you're the team that has to move first?
You just gotta hit those shots. That's all you have, hoping that they extend over to you, heavy peek onto you. Caden right now, if he gets taken out, that could be an opening for them, but he's not discovered just yet. Takes a couple of shots into the shoulder. Gonna quickly take a sip of that sody pop to heal that one back up, but Envy, they're maintaining their position to continue to hold both these squads inside.
Yeah. And so Caden did a good job. He was locking them in place, making sure they didn't come out, while Check and Jesse sort of figured out what they were dealing with on that side of the hill. Now they feel a little more comfortable with how their push is going to have to play out, and they can start to try and get some peaks, make a little bit of a rotation here, and figure out how they're going to get into their spot. Huyn, Vexel going around the outside. You can remember they played the opposition. Shuru gets the knockdown on Huyn. They're not going to be able to get that res. If they do, they'll get pushed down on. So Huyn is going to crawl into the house and just hope for the best as Vexel, a D-Master, and then Bin Long in the distance continue to make their transition.
We're able to sneak their way around the right side, taking out VT, though. That does give away their position, and that means there's only one remaining member of Set to Destroy. But here comes the push from Envious. They're continuing to wrap around onto the north, trying to cut off all exits from this spot. Vexel peeking out from Space Station. Doesn't spot anyone because Check Shooter and Jesse Lowell are farther to his right.
The Envy gatekeep is really, really strong where they slid over there and buried themselves. Where Jesse is, he can't get shot from behind, and he can't get seen from a push. So he's in a good spot to play a really hard gatekeep role. Caden is going to spot Vexel, takes a couple of shots of his own, so he'll go back and heal. Vexel now knows where they are, or he thinks he knows where they are, and may have to push past Jesse as the circle starts to close right now.
SSG, the only opportunity they have is to run around the right side, but Vexel's actually trapped inside that gate. He can't go outside. He has to go through that one solid entrance exit that is held by Jesse, and they're also stuck because they know that Shrew needs to come out.
Now.
The side, but they didn't hear him at all.
The jump shot! It was like a trap shooting contest.
Yeah, he does get popped mid-air, but D-Master goes down. It's just Vexel left, and his exit's going to be quite arduous. Have to run straight through Envious and Render, whenever Crossfire set up on him. proning down right now, trying to avoid shots. Has to take the fight, though, and he's going to get taken out. And so Space Station do go out in 6. But here comes the push from Render to try and punish Envy. Bitlock does get taken out immediately.
Teflon pushing him. Look at him. He came up the hill. He wants to go. He's going to come up. He heard the shooting. He's playing the defense role. He wants to be out in front. So he's going to set up a trap here. As we see 5 teams left, 11 alive. Teflon takes a couple of shots, ducks back down into his own little ravine. They're going to watch to see if he can't get a headshot when the guys from Envy come up over the hilltop. They do still have some circle access, as well as a player behind them playing defense for Core 4. Nade time, baby. Toss them up there and see what you can get.
They have a couple of seconds before they need to push down. And it's a nice hold, but Wailing getting taken out is a good start for them. Lush spotted out in the window. Check shooter trying to make those shots. Doesn't land, but it does put some pressure. But they may, I don't know if they're going to be expecting Teflon, but it doesn't matter because they're actually swinging around the right side. Caden still peeking over, watching for any aggression.
Keep an eye on Whalen. He assumes one of them will try to go and res him. Not prepared for Teflon in his position, so that could work very well in Core 4's advantage as Teflon sneaks up the hill to the right side. They'll spot Caden. He goes for the spray. He manages to do some damage, but Caden's jump saves his life. He lands on the ground. He wins the spray down. Core 4 down to 1 as Lush is outside the house, hiding behind the Jeep, trying to catch the corner. Teflon down and out, basically, as Lush gets pushed. He goes down. Envy on fire as they eliminate Core 4.
Excellent take on that compound, and now they have a very strong spot. It is them 3 versus 3 solos. Petalo especially still has to make his own way inside, trying to use smoke, but Envy, such a strong spot right now. Dominant position in the circle in this entire server, and should have an easy way of finishing out this game. Could still go any other way, though. We've seen solos have some clutch wins. Penta, though, I don't think he's going to be the one.
I mean, Duel trying to invest in the Penta crawl while Mr. Blonaport just watches. Like, there's not much he can do. He's about to get framed by the blue, so once that strikes him, it could be some serious trouble as he just tries to get as far forward as he possibly can. Now he's got to get up and start the run, and the Penta crawl becomes a really tough situation for him as the damage is going to start to tick very, very hard. 4 teams left, 6 alive. There you go.
Oh!
What? The Penta crawl pays off, but then Penta Law goes down.
Got third, though.
Yeah,
with that kill, he got himself 1 extra placement, so that's definitely something to be good. But
and now 2 teams, Novaland, dude, what hope is there? None. Team Envy actually pushes through multiple teams and finishes out with the chicken dinner. That was phenomenal play by those gentlemen as they just really just executed one team after another to get that big win. So kudos to them. A big shout out. I don't have the official scores yet, Cameron, so I'm not going to make any declarations. But since we don't get a chance to come back again, we're going to let the guys on the desk close this big show out. I do want to say a couple of things. First, great play by Space Station Gaming tonight. I hope if they do come out ahead, which I think that they might, I hope that they feel really good about that because their play was phenomenal. A big shout out to you, Cameron, and of course Skyline, our eye in the sky tonight. The guys who spent the whole evening here with me and you, bringing you the action. You guys were amazing to work with, so thank you so much. And of course, all the people behind the scenes here at Auzom. Auzom is a tournament that has been around since the very beginning of the sort of pro scene. They've been grinding it out before they were allowed to call tournaments. We called them play tests. We've been doing this for a while. We've got big things coming in season 3. So if you don't already follow them, go to Twitter, follow Auzom_GG, or hit follow on this channel so that you can learn even more about what's coming up. A big shout out to, of course, the admins and everybody else. Guys, it has been a ton of fun. Any last thoughts, Cameron, before we toss it over to the panel, who's going to talk until the scores come through and let you know who the big winner is?
I mean, I think we know who the big winner is, but nonetheless, it's been a long weekend, but it's been a great weekend of both EU and NA PUBG action. I've had a great time with you and everyone else that I've been helping cast this game and help bring it to all you guys. And so I hope I will see you all again in season 3.
Absolutely. All right. So from all of us here, thank you.